Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Grandmaster Chess episode 15. And what a brilliant episode we have on our cards today. It's with the one and only, the 14th world champion of chess, Vladimir Kramnik. And before we invite him and our favorite comedians on the screen and on this stream, I would like to give you a short introduction of our teacher today. So, guys, do you see the picture on the screen? This is young Vladimir Kramnik. I guess he should be around 10 years old. Looking very smart. And, well, chess was something that he was very good at since a very young age. And he grew up in the Botvinnik Kasparov chess school. And one of the most amazing things about Vladimir was that he became a GM without even becoming an IM, which very few players are able to achieve. In 1992, when there was an Olympiad in Manila, the Russian team was extremely strong. They had all the top players in the world. Kasparov was a part of it. And at that time, Vladimir was only an FM. And Kasparov said that we should have him in the team. There was a lot of back and forth. People said, we have so many grandmasters. But Kramnik played that tournament and he scored 8.5 points out of 9 with a performance of 2958. That was the big break when he came onto the scene, and since then he has been one of the best players in the world. In fact, in the year 1996, he became world number 1. And in 2000, he did the seemingly impossible back in the time. He beat the great Garry Kasparov in a world championship match, which was simply amazing, and then he went on to defend his world championship title against Peter Leko in 2004. And then came that moment when the world title was unified in 2006. So Kramnik became the unified world champion after a huge gap of 13 years, because in 93 there were 2 titles, and in 2006 finally there was 1 title, and Kramnik became the world champion by beating Topalov. He reached a rating of 2817 in 2016, which is one of the highest ratings in the world of chess, and he has beaten the current world champion Magnus Carlsen 6 times in classical chess. Believe it or not, he has won the Dortmund tournament for a massive 10 times. No one else has been able to do that, so he is rightly called Mr. Dortmund. And today we are going to discuss more about this. He will be soon in action with Vishy Anand in Dortmund later in the year in July. But we'll talk about this when Vladimir will be on the stream. And so without any further delay, let's welcome the one and only Vladimir Kramnik. Hello, Vladimir.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. It was a nice introduction. I mean, this guy you were talking about must be a complete genius, yeah. I mean, I would never believe it's possible, yeah, to achieve. But if you say so, I guess it's true, yeah. I don't know. I myself don't remember already most of it, yeah.
Well, I forgot to mention your excellent sense of humor, but well, we got a glimpse of that right now. So Vladimir,
well, you just forgot to mention, by the way, one small detail. It's true that I've beaten Magnus 6 times in classical chess, but he has beaten me 7 times. That's a very small nuance, which you rightly tried to avoid, but for the sake of truth and clarity, I have to mention it.
Yeah. But to beat Magnus so many times itself is never easy. So I was trying to point that. But today is we are going to see an immortal game of yours, because you played so many great games. Guys, I had to ask Vladimir to find a game which was easy to understand and easy to explain. So in that sense, we selected the game. But Vladimir, let me first introduce you to our students here today. We have Biswa Kalyan Rath on the left. We have Vaibhav Sethia, Joel D'Souza, who is a guest student for today. In fact, he is the strongest chess player amongst the comedians, who has a rating close to 1800. And
Wonder who the genius is.
Has he drawn with Kramnik ever? Just checking.
and last but not the least, Anirban Das Gupta here. So these are, four of the top comedians in India, and they are truly in love with chess. So that's why they play day in and out, lot of games, and they want to get better at chess. And this was the idea here, that they can improve at the game in this way.
Good, excellent. And I also invite all the people who are watching it live, and maybe who will be watching it in recording, to take part in it, also to try to guess some moves as well.
Yes, there will be 10 moments.
But frankly, I Sagar, one small detail which is actually partly true, that it's been a game on 1996. Yeah, we are going to show and to today, and frankly, I'm not sure I remember it completely. Yeah, the game. So I would be at the same time also trying to guess my own moves, maybe. Yeah, in some parts of those games, because I'm not sure I remember them all. Exactly. So that would be interesting experiment to see if I can guess it. But I think I will, because the general trend of the game I more or less remember.
Yeah, and it could be that Vladimir, they will come up with moves which might be different from what you have played in the game, and so you will have to judge whether those moves are equally good, maybe even better, perhaps, or very bad, and based on it you can award 1 point, half point, and 0 points. Okay, so let's switch to our next to our chess board, and I'll just fix everything. But before we get going, Vladimir, one question to you. You are soon going to play a tournament, we have heard, and we are very excited. In fact, I published a report today on ChessBase India about it, and everyone is so excited to see that you will be back in action very soon.
Yes, it was. I mean, it's not that I'm coming back to chess, not at all. But I actually, we agreed that we are going to play a match, not a tournament, in Dortmund of classical chess. I mean, with a classical time control, 4 games match with one and only Vichy, Anand, good old friend and good old rival. Yeah, it's going to be a very special event, because as you might have heard already, that I was developing together with DeepMind, with the company DeepMind, a new variations of chess. Yeah, just one of those variations is the most kind of, let's say, classical already. Yeah, well known is no castle chess. So basically, it's the same rules, but just that you cannot make castle. Which, you remember, Sagar, you will even organize a tournament like this
with the young kids.
A Blitz tournament with young kids. Yeah, there are some articles on it also on ChessBase and so on. So it's a very interesting variation. The idea is that it's actually the same chess, but simply without all this theory, all these masses of theory, which would definitely make the games more decisive, more exciting for public, and more content in the games, because basically in such variation you start to play on your own from move 3 or 5 maximum, and in regular chess you you can sometimes play half of the game just by preparation. So that is my idea. It's very interesting experiment, and I hope, I'm sure the games will be interesting. I will try to do my best. I don't know how it will go. I mean, I haven't played classical chess for 2 years already, so I'm not sure it will be. But fortunately, my opponent, Vish, as many other players, also, because of this nowadays lockdown. So at least it will be more equal than usual. But yes, we are going to have this event. It's a part of the big Dortmund Chess Festival. there will be several events, also round robin tournament, I think, of 17th category as well. Hopefully some Indian players will be playing there also. I don't know yet who is playing, but that would be already classical chess. Some big online open and so on. But as a main event, yes, they decided to make this new type of chess and to invite two old guys to try to make sense out of it, out of this Newcastle
we are
chess.
very, very excited for it, and I have some questions on it. I'll ask as the game, when we'll pose them with questions. When you will ask them, I'll ask you some questions about it. But Vladimir, right now the game that we are going to see is against one of your, again, an old rival come friend. This is the one and only Boris Gelfand. Do you remember something about this game? It was played back in 1996.
Yes, I remember very well. It was played, so we can flip the board. I was black,
Yes.
yeah, just for maybe, yeah. It was played in Berlin. It seems that Berlin is a good place for me. I mean, a geographically good place because I played quite few very memorable games in this city. And of course, Berlin defense as well. So it was, I think, European Club Championship, if I remember well. And I've played for Berlin Club, actually, yeah. And Boris, I don't remember for which club he was playing. And yes, so I think we actually won the event. So it was semi-final, if I remember well, and we played on the first board. It was quite a memorable game. You will see why, especially at the end of it. It was quite a rare situation. I will not give you too many hints, but yeah, it's quite rarely that playing a top player you manage to get this such a position, which I got at some point. Yeah, and of course, beating Boris with black, I mean, especially he's extremely solid and strong player, especially having white pieces, and he was a top 10 player at that time. So it was a big achievement. And as always for me, it's not only about winning and not even mainly about winning, but about the way you manage to do it. And I think, yeah, it was a very nice game, and hopefully public will enjoy it. And I tried to choose some game which is not so well known, so there is to avoid the chance of that many people, and including the students who are in front of me, that they will know it by heart. Yeah. So that was
because
one
some
of
of your games
I
are
had
so
a
famous
choice.
that people might know them already.
Yeah, and Sagar, yeah, I've sent you some choice of different options, and there were some victories against Carlsen, Kasparov, but I thought, I mean, they were also very interested in some way. Even one of the games which I proposed was a game when I was 12, yeah, some victory of mine when I was 12, which was kind of cute also, but finally I decided to show this one. Forgive me, Boris, for that, but what to do? Yeah.
Okay, so let's get going, and I'll just say that, guys, the first prize of this entire series of Grandmaster Chess is this chess set here that they would win, whoever scores the more points. And as you can see right now, it's Vaibhav who is leading with 86 points. Biswa is on second position with 73. Anirban is on 50.5, and Samay, who is not present here, is on 17. Joel, who is the guest student for today, is on 0. But Joel, don't worry, because you also can win something. This is the first time where we have a prize for an episode winner, and that is the DVD of Kramnik, My Path to the Top, on ChessBase. And this one is one of Vidit Gujarati's favorite. When he was young, he had studied this, Vladimir, and he said he learned a lot from this DVD. So it's a
great. It's been quite some time ago. Yeah,
it's
when
very
I
old,
it.
and it's actually I think 2007 or 6 maybe when you recorded it.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But hopefully it's all true what I said. I don't remember already what was it all about, but I'm happy to know that some very serious professional players, they liked it and they found it useful.
It's amazing. So
Sagar, you'll also have to give it a DVD player. If
I mean, it's called a DVD, but
Otherwise,
you will get a download file only. Like you won't get the actual
Okay.
DVD.
okay, just
So it's
checking.
like, even if I win, if I don't have a DVD player, what should I do with? Okay, so let's begin with the game. Vladimir is black, Boris is white. Boris opens with his favorite move, 1d4. Also, in the crowd, guys, you can have a chess set in front of you, a notebook and a pen to write down your moves when they are asked, and be ready for this thing. Vladimir responded with d5, c4, c6. Vladimir, Slav is one of your favorite openings?
Yeah. At that time, I had a very patriotic repertoire. Yeah, I was playing Slav against d4 and Petrov defense against e4, which is called also Russian defense. Yeah, in Russia. So it's extremely, but Slav is Slavian. Yeah, Russian is Russian. So I had a full package. Yeah, of the. But seriously, yeah, of course it's it's an opening which served me extremely well in the 90s, and I won quite many games, by the way, including quite a beautiful game against Garry Kasparov, which I decided not to show because maybe many people would know it. Yeah, but also it was a nice game in the same opening, in the same Meran variation. So yeah, I have good memories of this opening. But then for some reason, I don't know why I've decided to switch to more classical things. Maybe maybe my style have changed a bit, so I decided to play a bit more solid, because this opening system, Meran variation, is very sharp. It can get extremely sharp, as you will see in this game. And then with age, you tend to avoid unnecessary complications in chess and in life. So
So Boris went knight to c3. Vladimir replied knight f6, knight f3, standard development, and with e6 we now have the Meran variation on the board, and he played e3, which is one of the main lines, knight bd7, queen c2. One of the other main moves here is bishop d3, but he went queen c2, and Vladimir responded bishop d6. And here, Boris surprised. I mean, I don't know. I have to ask Vladimir whether he was surprised or not.
Yeah.
But he played the move g4. Were you surprised, Vladimir, with this move?
Well, actually, there is an interesting story with this g4 move. I think it was called Shabalov variation, because there was a Grandmaster Shabalov, Latvian, he now lives in US, who was started to play this g4, and very quickly another Latvian at that time player, Alexei Shirov, he started to use it as well, and actually it became very fashionable. And I remember when it just appeared, it was a big kind of, it's a very strange move, extremely aggressive, and looks really strange, queen to c2, and then all of a sudden you attack, with g4. But the interesting thing is, which of course I cannot prove, but you can believe me, it's true, that I found this move 1 year before all of those guys, and actually I've analyzed it a lot. And since I was very young, like 15, at that time when I found, and I actually found it extremely interesting. I couldn't see any refutation of it, but I simply, at that time I thought, okay, it just cannot be. Such move cannot be good. So finally, I had like 1 week of analysis, a lot of notes on it, but I simply never played it with white. And I thought, okay, nobody's going to play it. It just cannot. It's just wrong. This move must be wrong. But I couldn't find any refutation. And then it was interesting to see how this move became popular. And actually, it was one of the main weapons in Meran, and even Kasparov played it quite a lot. So it's a very, very serious, very sharp and aggressive opening where Black has to know really well what he is doing.
Yeah. This is g4. is a very sharp move, and it's still opening theory, but I think you guys here would not know about it. So your first question is already here. Black to play, how do you respond to this move? Because, and I guess there are several ways to play against it. You have 2 minutes to decide what you will do, and also in the crowd, guys, in the chat, try to figure out.
I would even correct a little bit. You try to find all possible logical candidate moves. Of course, any logical move is playable here and was played, but try just to see what are the options, what are all the options, and to see if you would come up with a move which I've played myself.
Okay. Actually, the move played by Vladimir is not at all easy for anyone to guess, but yeah, you also have to think what will happen if you take the pawn. And Vladimir, like this, you gave a hint. You can always give hints to them, which will help them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to. Yeah. I mean, you need to, of course, to watch out for a balance, equilibrium. Yeah, not to give a hint which would be too telling. Yeah. But from other point of view, yeah, of course, the game will be complicated, very sharp, and not easy to get the right move. So I will try to help a bit my poor students to help them finding the best moves.
Okay. And do you also have like the chat open in front of you of the video? Yeah.
Me? I don't know how to do it.
I mean, because this is one of those streams, Vladimir. Like usually when I stream, there are people who will write all sorts of things and this. But Grandmaster Chess is that series where the entire chat is only filled with chess moves. Like everyone is just guessing moves. So I'll send you the link, and in case if
you mean right here, yeah,
maybe on the mail, maybe I can send you. On Zoom, yeah, I can send on Zoom. Correct.
Yeah. I mean that I can. Yeah, I don't know how to.
Okay, guys, time is up, and while I send the link to Vladimir, let's begin with top left. Biswa, what's your move?
And where is the link?
I'll send you.
I'm sorry. You didn't yet. Yeah. Okay.
I will need a week.
Yeah.
If Vladimir needs a week, I need a week. I can't find in 2 minutes. And he even can't find in a week. So how do you expect me to find 2 minutes?
Just tell what are the moves. What are the logical moves? I mean, that's all. For the moment, there is no way to say that this move is the best. I mean, there are like few logical moves which are possible here.
Yeah, I was thinking C5 or H5.
C5 or H5 for Biswa. Okay, let's go to Vaibhav. What are your moves?
I actually considered Bishop B4.
Bishop B4 for Vaibhav. So C5 and H5 are moves Biswa considered. What about Joel?
I think pawn to E5.
Pawn to E5. Okay. And Anirban?
E5 or C5?
E5 or C5. Okay.
And there is nobody who just wants to grab the pawn.
No one wants to take it.
We thought it's your game, so we shouldn't play like us.
I think you have. Yeah, I see you have a lot of respect for Boris. Yeah, but actually, grabbing the pawn is a very valid continuation, and I've played it myself some years after. Yeah, so knight takes G4 is perfectly possible. It's very complicated move, but so you are right. E5 is one of the main moves. Also, wow. It's. But it's probably not that good because there is G5 coming. In fact, I think nowadays, as far as I know, the main move is strangely enough, taking on G4 is perfectly fine, and H6. Strangely enough, H6 is one of the maybe most solid and reliable continuations.
We have Vladimir in the chat, Adiban. One of India's top GMs, who said he has once played H6 with black here. So he has also mentioned that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, h6 is. By the way, I just cannot get to the chat still. I mean, you send me the link, but I for some reason it doesn't open.
It's
I
the
don't know
video
why.
like on YouTube. If you go and stay,
Yeah. Ah, yes. Now I see, but for some reason it doesn't want
on
to open. I don't know why. I mean, just doesn't show anything. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I mean, maybe
if
you
there are
can
some
read
interesting
Sagar
ones,
yourself if there's
yeah,
something
I will
interesting.
read
Yeah.
it, yes.
Okay, so yeah, h6. So the idea is, of course, if black, the first temptation is just to take this pawn. I mean, just to instead of knight takes g4, just okay. Maybe Boris just haven't seen that this pawn is hanging. Yeah, this can happen always. So, but then there is rook g1. That is the idea of the move, rook g1, and then if knight retreats to f6, white takes the pawn on g7. And actually now, okay, he's quite active because black's king becomes, it's not easy to find a safe place for black's king. And white will follow with bishop d2 and long castle. So his king will be much better placed, than black's king. So after rook g1, there were several moves. I mean, knight takes g4, rook g1, but main move is knight takes h2. So the same idea, but at least to take another pawn. Yeah, knight takes h2. Bishop takes h2, rook takes g7. It's a pawn sacrifice, and then white is trying to do the same, followed by bishop d2, long castle, e4. Of course, black is pawn up, but again, the position, if the queens would be exchanged, black would be just much better. But since the queens are on the board and black king has difficulties finding a safe place here, okay, for the moment, actually, the h7 pawn is hanging as well, yeah? So the situation is very complicated and perfectly playable for white. I mean, quite uneasy for black. Yeah. So that's why h6 is played. The idea of the move h6 is to stop g5 because definitely white wants to play g5 otherwise. And now if white is continuing with h4, for example, then I can already take on g4, and after rook g1, I have h5 move, just blocking the g line, because with a pawn on h2, white would have played h3, attacking the knight and still taking the pawn on g7. And like this, black is very solid and actually just a pawn up, because I managed to block the g line. So that is the idea of h6, is just to slow down white's aggression, so to say. And then after h6, usually white is playing rook g1 here, and then black after rook g1, just trying to go h4, g5 next. And now black has a tempi to play e5, for example. I think is one of the main moves in this position. And it's a very, very sharp and complicated game. And there were lots of discussions on a very high level on this position. And it seems that black is doing fine here. It seems so. But of course, it's still very playable for both sides.
E5 is one of those moves where, flank attack is to be met with a strike in the center. Yes?
Yeah, that's very logical. I mean, it's totally in accordance with classical rules of chess. And so that is the explanation of the h6 move. But I think one of you said, after g4, because the theory at that time was just developing of this variation, and actually it was kind of dangerous for black. I mean, not quite often black would get into trouble after this g4. And then I found this idea of very side line. It was almost a novelty at that time, if not completely a novelty, just to avoid complications, to avoid extremely sharp play, and to get to a more positional solid game as much as it's possible after such a move like g4. So I've played bishop b4.
Oh boy.
But
Vaibhav, you found. I was like, no one is going to find bishop b4 because it's moving the same piece again. Vaibhav, why did you choose this move?
Because I've just actually on my previous move I played bishop d6. So that is a violation of all laws of chess, of playing the opening in chess. But since white also violated by playing g4, which is not really in accordance with a classical concept that you have to develop pieces, castle, and so on. So there is one important rule in chess, and not only in chess, actually, I think also in life, is that I'll try to translate it accurately. It's non-standard situations require non-standard methods, or of solving them. I mean, when you find yourself in a situation which is totally out of a standard, there is always a temptation to solve it by very standard methods. But most of the time, you need, and in chess especially, you need to try to find some moves. I mean, sometimes moves. Of course, if g4 wouldn't have been played, bishop b4 against almost any other move would just makes no sense at all. But since g4 is played now, I want my main idea playing bishop b4 is to meet g5 if white plays g5, that I have knight e4. That is a point. That is a point of the idea. So I'm trying to tell to my opponent that now we play a positional game, and in this positional game g4 is weakening more than I mean, that you, Boris, should have kept your pawn on g2 and not on g4. So I mean, that is my concept. But of course, white also has some possibilities. After bishop b4 is not a refutation by far of g4 move. But
I thought he goes bishop d2, and that's why.
That's what happened in the game. I think Vaibhav is in like a different mindset today. He's finding all the world-class moves.
Also, I think he wants to get more and more points. So even when it's not counted, but who knows? Maybe you'll get another few points. No, but I'm joking. That's correct. That's what Boris have played.
So Vladimir, what about c5 and h5 moves that Biswa suggested? Does he get a point?
I think h5 is not good because g5 will come. I mean, it's not fighting against the g5, which is a kind of threat here, and not clear where the knight should go after g5. I mean, in fact, you have to watch out for g5. I think c5 also is not correct here because of the same story, g5. And it's difficult to find a good square for the knight. And the center becomes vulnerable. Let's say if the knight goes away to somewhere to h5 or somewhere, I don't know where else, then you can simply lose a d5 pawn.
Right.
So in a way, this g4 move is a fight for the center in some way. So with this g4, and I think the same story goes for e5. There is some g5 ideas. So this g5 is very annoying. So I would say that the main moves are taken on g4, playing h6. D takes c4 makes some sense as well, but also makes some sense. Just at least d takes c4. The idea is that after g5, at least I have the square or d5 for the knight. But I mean, it's another theoretical move. And this bishop b4, I'm not sure it subjectively equalizes, but it was an interesting try at that moment of time.
So right now only Vaibhav gets a point. Rest all of them had mentioned e5 or c5.
I think that's those moves are not too bad, not losing or something, but I would say that I would give a point for 3 moves, for knight takes g4, h6, and bishop b4. And maybe half point for d takes c4.
Got it. Great. So and also I'm very happy to see Vladimir is slightly strict teacher here, so he doesn't give points for all the moves. So this is going to be fun today. Bishop b4 was played, and Boris broke the pin with bishop d2, breaking the pin. Queen went to e7 here, and then when he played a3, Vladimir took on c3, bishop c3, and guys, now for your second point here. You get 2 minutes only because this is still sort of the opening phase. So you have to figure out.
Now it's an important moment. You have to see what is White's idea and to try to prevent it in the most efficient, most effective way.
Also in the chat, guys, try to think what to do. You have 2 minutes to figure out what to do. And this game, Vladimir, what was the time control of this game? Was it
classical? It was classical, completely classical.
Was there was no increment, right, back then? So it was like I think 96 means it was all analog clocks.
No, I think there was already maybe not. I think there was an increment already. That I don't. I mean, I for sure remember that there were no Germans anymore, because the last top tournament I played with the Germans was Linares 1993. But there was still, the games were still adjourned after 6 hours of play. But here, I think it was totally classical, probably like 2 hours for 40 moves, 1 hour for another 30 moves, and then till the end of the game, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a very.
I've played with so many different time controls in my life already. That it's hard to remember.
When we were starting the stream,
there is any simple. I mean, I just have never played Bullet, because I just don't like the concept of it. But otherwise, I think all other time controls I've experienced myself.
Amazing. When we were starting the stream, Biswa, Vaibhav reminded Vladimir that they had played with him. And Vladimir said, I not only remember that I played with you guys, I can even reconstruct the entire game. So that's how memory works at that level.
That was a different time control also.
Okay, let's start with Vaibhav now. Vaibhav, what's your move?
Really tied. I'm gonna go with D captures on C.
DC4. Okay. Joel?
Yeah, I had the same thought. DC4, then the bishop captures, then you push C5. But since Vaibhav's already said that, I think I'll go C5.
Straight
then.
C5.
You can say the
same answer you can say, because if your answer is same, then you will get both will get points.
Oh, both 0 points. Depends.
Yeah, I'll go C5. It's just not fun having the same answer.
C5, DC4 for Vaibhav. What about Anirban?
Knight B6.
Knight B6. Okay. And Biswa?
Knight E4. I was
Knight
thinking.
E4. Okay. So these are 4 different moves that have been suggested. Vladimir, what are your thoughts on D takes C4?
Well, first I want to tell you the general idea that in chess in general, what is very important is this prophylactic thinking, which is the core of chess. Most of the time when it's your move, first you have to check try to check if you have a forced queen, or you can take a piece or mate, of course, that's the first, but very quickly in 99% of cases you realize that it's not possible. So that is the first step. The second step is very important, for all of you, for players of all levels, amateur levels, even professional level, that you should not start thinking about your plan. What do you want to do in general? So the second step is to try to understand what is the plan of your opponent. What does he want to do next? So in a way, I can tell you that one of the strange but quite effective methods to understand it is to give your opponent a move again. Let's say you think you don't make a move. It's his move now. And then you try to understand what would you play if it's white to play. And like this, quite often like this, you can understand what is white's idea in the position. And then like this, you can actually try to understand whether it's dangerous, whether he has anything very dangerous or not dangerous. If yes, then how can you defend against it, and so on. So if you look at it from this point of view, well, actually, the problem is that white potentially, at minimum potentially, but objectively already now, he wants to play bishop b4. This is a very annoying move. If it's white to play that, I mean, sooner than later, maybe even on the next move, he'll play bishop b4, attacking the queen. Let's say if queen goes to d8 or something, and then you cannot castle. And then he can even try to play a4, for example, and then a5, bishop a3. This diagonal is very, very annoying. So in fact, the method of thinking has to be that you have to do something about bishop b4. Then the question, that's already a first step, yeah? That's the first step. Then you have to already, there are different ways to deal with it, yeah? But that's the way how I'm trying to show you the method, yeah? How do you come to the best candidate moves, yeah? That you need to understand what is the main kind of danger of your position or main idea of your opponent. So that's why I decided I have to watch, I have to do something about this move in general and in particular now, exactly now. So that's why moves like knight b6, yeah, the problem is that it allows bishop b4 still, and then the king will, yeah, you'll have a big trouble finding a normal place for the king, yeah, for black's king. So that's why dc4, it's possible, but it doesn't really fight with it, yeah, so much. You can just take bishop takes c4, bishop b4. Anyway, it will be coming sooner or later. And in fact, c5 is fighting against it in a way, yeah. So c5 is closer to the right answer, but let's say d takes c5. The problem of c5 moves that it opens up a very powerful diagonal for the bishop. Yeah, the bishop on c3 becomes extremely active on the diagonal, and then he make long castle, and then it can. Yeah, I don't want to activate his bishop because potentially it can be extremely limited by inactivity by his own pawn structure, like e3, d4. You see for the moment, most of the pawns are on the black square. So there is a potential of this bishop to be a bad bishop. So I would like to keep the structure closed, yeah. But at the same time, trying to stop him from activating this bishop. I would say then logically, I would consider move like a5. I would give half point for a move like a7, a5. Just to stop
a lot
bishop
of people
before,
in the chat did go for the move a5, but yeah, only half for that.
Yeah, but that's half point. But I've played, I think, a better move, which is b6. Because I'm trying to do the same. I'm preparing after bishop b4. I have now c5. Yeah, so it's not so effective. dc5, bc5, and the bishop has to retreat. Let's say on c3, but it also makes sense. But at least he lost to Tempest. Yeah. Compared to c5, so now I can develop bishop b7 or something, or castle, knight e4. He lost Tempest with bishop b4. So b6 is the same idea as a5, but I'm trying to do it with a Tempest to develop my pieces at the same time. Yeah. So I think that would be full 1 point for b6, and I would say half point for a5.
Amazing. I like how Vladimir also gives points to moves which are not only spoken here but other moves, because in the chat there are a lot of people guessing all different kinds of moves, so they also know what they would score here. So here this, yeah,
we didn't discuss knight e4, right?
Yeah, but knight e4 is the same, I think, problem with bishop b4. Knight e4 is not too bad. Yeah, it just tactically doesn't work so well. But the problem is bishop b4. Again, you probably have to play c5, which opens up the position. Yeah, most probably. Otherwise,
what about knight d6?
Actually, no. Maybe in fact you can play queen f6 after bishop b4. Maybe this queen f6 is not too bad because you're attacking the knight at least. And if bishop e2, at least now you can play e5. Yeah, that's true. Knight e4 is, yeah, at least you kick the bishop back, yeah, to c3. Not quite sure that you need knight to e4 for the moment, but yeah, that's maybe not a bad move. Knight e4 might be also possible. So it's a way, it's a little strange way to defend against bishop b4 as well. So you're right, maybe half point I would give for knight e4. Okay. Yeah.
I also had one more question. Is bishop d3 at all a consideration that it's eyeing the h7 pawn later on, that bishop d3 is going to be a threat later on? Is that because knight e4 also kind of stops that? So I was just curious between these two moves. Does bishop d3 at all worry you that later on?
Yeah, that's true. But you see, my concept is that I want. Okay, you will see it later in the game. I want to play against this black color bishop. in a way,
Okay.
it can become very active and dangerous because I don't have the opposition. Yeah, I don't have my own black color bishop, but it can also become very passive one day. Yeah, because for the moment it is quite passive. Yeah, so it's a little different concept. Actually, I'm not planning to take this bishop with a knight. For example, knight e4, white can go bishop d3, knight c3, queen c3. Yeah, for example. And I don't know, I lost to Tempest taking this bishop. It's okay, it's perfectly playable, but my concept was a bit different, is to try to keep pieces and actually to try to limit this bishop. But yeah, 94 is, yeah, it's half point.
Okay, half point
Minimum.
to Biswa. Actually, Biswa had this question. I don't know. Bishop b4, knight d6. Does that make any sense?
That is dubious, yeah, because this pin is very dangerous. I mean, of course, you want to play 5 probably to get rid of this bishop, but I would be very worried about something like a4. I mean, that you keep this bishop on diagonal, a5, bishop a3. And this diagonal is very, very unpleasant, yeah, this bishop. I mean, this pin is like, it's very difficult to get rid of it, yeah. So I really would like to be sure that the bishop doesn't get to this diagonal.
Cool. Okay. So b6 was played. Only half a point here for Biswa. Bishop d3. As Vaibhav mentioned, now the bishop comes out.
Yeah, the idea of bishop d3 is that, of course, my plan is if g5, then knight e4. I mean, so if he would play g5, I go knight e4, and then bishop b4, I play c5, yeah? So, I mean, I prepared c5 here, dc5, bc5, and white bc5, and white has problems with the bishop on b4, yeah? So, and if he plays, and after g5, knight e4, also his pawn on g5 is hanging. So I want to wait for g5 and then to play knight e4 and prepare b6, yeah? At the same time, prepare c5. So bishop d3, the idea of the move is that Boris is trying to insist that now g5 is already a threat because is trying to establish the control on the e4 square.
Right. So now g5 is a big threat, and so Vladimir went bishop a6, putting pressure down this diagonal, threatening to win this pawn here. And so
yeah, it's also the point that I played b6 because one of my ideas is to develop this bishop, which is quite limited as well, yeah? So I'm trying to find my diagonal for this bishop, and bishop a6 is trying to hit the c4 pawn, and it has I guess a tactical justification. If white is now playing g5, I think it's d takes c4 probably works, yeah, if I understand.
Then you take
probably
this.
or not. Yeah, take and c takes d3. Yeah, that's a very important.
And
tactics.
if queen a4, there is.
And if queen a4, queen takes f6. I think.
Okay. And if this.
I mean, of course, all your strategical ideas in chess also must be, must work tactically. Yeah. I mean, there were other moves than bishop a6, of course. Yeah, it was not absolutely necessary, but since it worked tactically, why not to play it? Yeah, so I'm in this way, I'm kind of stopping g5. Now already more in a tactical fashion.
So Boris went queen a4, and this, friends, is your third point now after queen a4. What do you play here as black? Again, it's a very forcing position in a way. So you won't get confused here. So I still keep it at 2 minutes for you. And Vladimir, if you have any hints for them, maybe they can.
Hints, the bishop is hanging on a6. That's one of the hint. Okay, there are not too many ways, but there are some ways to deal with it. Yeah. Well, basically, obviously, yeah. I mean, the ways are obvious. Just try to find, I mean, which one is preferable. I mean, in your opinion, yeah. But when the bishop is hanging, something has to be done about it. Yeah, that's my chess education tells that probably you shouldn't play castle or queen d8 or something. Yeah.
Vladimir, this game was played in 98. I think you were 96. Yes, you were only 23 years old, right? At that point.
21.
21 years old. And you were already close to become, I think that year or the next you became world number 1.
I already became number one, and I already lost the spot back to Garry Kasparov by the time
Oh,
the game
really?
was played. I
Ah,
think
okay.
I became number one in the beginning of 2000 of 1996. So in the 1st of January, I was half year number one, and then in the second half of the year, Kasparov overtook me back, and I think this game was played sometime in autumn, October, November. So I was already a total loser. So I was number two in the world already. So
But at the age of just 20, which is unbelievable. Yeah, like 21 years old and
well, actually, it was a nice moment. I mean, it doesn't matter at all, yeah, because who cares if you are for some time number one half year. But actually, during the Kasparov period from 85 to 2005, when he stopped chess, it was the only time in his whole career when he lost number one spot. That, in this sense, it's kind of nice, yeah, to get this achievement, yeah. So it's only few months in 20 years when he was not number one.
unbelievable feat.
It's funny, I guess, like only in chess it can happen that a 20-year-old is the world champion, and then people can tell them, "You have your entire life ahead. Have you planned something?"
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the person's already in the top.
Okay, so here time is up, guys. We'll start with Anirban. This time, sorry, with Joel. This time, Joel, what's your move?
I mean, I'm on 0, so I have nothing to lose. I'll go bishop would take c4.
Bishop takes c4 for Joel. Okay.
Okay.
He wants to take the pawn. What about Anirban?
Bishop b7.
You want to come back? Okay. Biswa?
Yeah, bishop takes on c4.
Okay. And
Original.
Vaibhav?
Oh, no. Can I change? Can I change?
I think I have a bad move, but knight d8.
Knight b8. Okay. Do you want to change? Anyone?
No, I don't want to change. Sorry.
Vladimir,
I want to change, but I did not think of the move, so I don't want to do it now.
Knight b8. What are your thoughts on knight b8?
Can you not give the thoughts on knight b8, please, sir?
Actually,
It does a job.
It does the job, but yeah. I
No,
thought
I mean,
bishop
of course,
b7 does a better job.
there is a sense in knight b8, the sense that, okay, you want to keep the bishop on this diagonal, yeah. But of course, yeah, usually it's not something which I would recommend to children and other people, is to undevelop your piece, yeah, which was already developed. So in general, knight b8 shouldn't be good by general considerations, yeah. I mean, normally once the knight is already out from the original square, it's better to whether to keep the knight on the square, whether to move it somewhere, in the center or something, yeah. But there is a point, yeah, because the idea is, of course, the most logical, I mean, normal move is bishop b7. But okay, that's something, that was not my idea. I wanted bishop a6 was played on the previous move, so my idea was to press the c4 pawn to try to change this white color bishop. Bishop b7 is playable, but I didn't like it much. Yeah, there was several quite dangerous ideas against bishop b7. For example, g5 maybe can be possible. Simple knight e4, I guess. Yeah, you can take on e4 with the bishop, d takes e4, knight d2. Yeah, and then e4 pawn is hanging. If you play c5, then there is a diagonal starts to get open. Yeah, I mean, dc5 or d5 or something, the bishop can become extremely powerful, yeah, on c3 again. Otherwise, pawn on e4 sometimes is hanging. So bishop b7 is of course, it's a possible move, but it's kind of, yeah, it's not exactly what I wanted, I would say. Bishop takes e4, yeah, actually, that's an important tactical nuance. In conceptually, it is a right move, yeah, but it just tactically doesn't work because there is bishop takes e4. Let's say bishop takes c4, or immediately queen c6, but bishop c4, d takes c4, and now queen takes c6. This is a problem. That white is taking the pawn on c6, attacking the rook, why probably black should castle. I mean, that would all be perfectly fine, but then there is bishop b4 again. You remember this nasty idea, yeah? Bishop b4 now comes, and I'm losing in exchange, yeah. So I mean, that's why I've played the most accurate move, which is very difficult actually to find, especially in with such so little time you have, is d takes e4. That is very important, is that to start taking with the pawn, because now if queen takes c6, I have rook c8. That's very important. My bishop is protecting the rook, yeah, and attacking the queen. And if it goes out, I take the bishop, yeah, on d3.
Beautiful.
And then I have quite some initiative. Or I can also play bishop b7 after queen a4. So the idea, I want to achieve the same, but I mean, just chess. Why chess is so complicated? Yeah, because it's not enough to have the right strategy or the right idea. But also you need to always to calculate variations a bit to make sure that it works tactically. Yeah, so it's a combination of those, and also, I mean, not enough just to have an interesting tactical idea if it's not sound strategically. So it's a combination of those both, yeah, things together. That's what makes it very complicated. Yeah, but so that's why bishop takes e4 as an idea is right, but the way to to realize it is wrong.
And also here b5 doesn't work because he will just take it, right? And then eventually,
yeah, and again the same story, and then I cannot castle because once I can castle, I will have a lot of compensation, but there is always this bishop b4 coming. Yeah, I mean this nasty bishop b4, which I was telling you about earlier, that it's one of the major ideas of the position.
Okay, so Vladimir was very accurate. He took on c4 with the pawn. Boris took the bishop on a6. C takes d3. Queen takes d3. And now you could finally castle because
because you see bishop b4, now I always have c5. I mean, that's very important. So with this kind of operation, what I managed, I got rid of my white color bishop, which is quite limited. It used to be very limited with all those pawns, e6, d5, c6, f7. So I exchange it. I managed to castle. I connect my rooks. I think that finally the outcome of the opening is very positive for black. I'm doing fine, no doubt about it. Yeah, because I managed tactically to get everything I wanted. Of course, white also has certain potential. He will now, since if his pawn would have been on g2, he would just castle short and the position would be pretty equal. But since he played aggressive g4, now he cannot really do it. His king is just too weak. So he has to castle long and to continue playing aggressive. Maybe trying to get g5, e4 one day and to get some h4, h5. But I think that black's position is preferable probably already because now his king is safer than white's king. Yeah, I mean, and otherwise all pieces are well developed, so I can conclude that the opening went very well for me.
Yeah, if only this was no castling chess, then maybe white would have a nice position.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But now with castling, black is safe. He pushed g5, knight came to d5, and Boris kept this bishop. And so, guys, here is your fourth point. Now, this is very important moment, and I think you guys, this entire session has been a low-scoring one. Until now 3 points have been done, but also the moves have been not very easy. So here is the next question, and I give you 3 minutes to solve.
Yeah, it's not easy also, but remember what I have just told you about the procedure. I mean, how do you come to the right move? Yeah, if you still remember, there's this those questions which you have to ask, to answer them, and then to understand what is going on, and then to find the right move. So in this situation, and in many situations in chess, it will help you to find the best solution.
Yeah, so let's see if you can find the right move here. One question, Vladimir, I always have had in my mind, and I wanted to ask you is, now you will play a match with Anand. And you said, a friend and also a rival over the chessboard over the years. How does that work basically when two players right at the very top have become world champions, have fought with each other tooth and nail? How do they become friends at some point?
I don't know. You see, it's a philosophical question. Yeah, I mean, it's they say for some reason, I don't know why, that if it's difficult to have good relation with somebody who is your direct concurrent. But it's depends on your way of seeing life. I mean, for me, concurrent is a concurrent, and I don't, I have a very clear assessment of the professional field concurrentship and the human field. Yeah, and okay, I mean, after all, chess and almost anything we do in life, is a game. Okay, tennis, football, it's just a game. Yeah, I mean, and your concurrent, he is. I mean, why to be angry with him if he beats you? Because he's trying to do exactly what you are trying to do. It's totally fair. I mean, when you win a game against your opponent, you are not angry with yourself, no, that you won. Yeah, I mean, why should you be angry with him? Because he's doing completely the same thing. So, for me, this whole concept, I could never really understand it goes pretty much, I guess, with ego, with a certain ambition. But I don't see why, if somebody is better than you at chess or anywhere else, or beating you, why you have to be angry with him as a person. I mean, even other way around. I mean, I more appreciate it. I mean, I really can appreciate that the person is a great chess player. But in any case, the human relations and the human assessment of a person as a human, for me, never had anything to do with our professional relations, in chess. So to me, it's totally natural and normal. I'm pretty sure for Vishy it's the same, but I would say in general there are many occasions when it's the opposite, when it's not the case. But yeah, again, it's your life philosophy after all.
Very well said. And apart from chess, there's a lot to learn from this. How to keep your relations separate from chess relations and also your personal ones. It's amazing.
I would say how to tame your ego. That's I mean, of course, in nowadays world, very often actually it's something supposed to be something positive. To have as big ego as possible. I am an old-fashioned, if you want, a more Eastern philosophy person. I think that you have to tame your ego. If you don't do it, it starts to tame you. I mean, and so that's just a different approach.
Amazing. Right now on the board, guys, you have to tame this bishop for the time being. Let's see what is the move this time. We are on the fourth question. So Anirban, what's your move?
I'm confused. I have three moves. Based on...
You want to make it sure, at least to have some points. Okay, good. But make it in the order, in the preference order. So what is the main move for you? The
order, the one G6. G6 is one.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure about the order, but G6 is one to stop the pawn from coming ahead. And if the pawn remains here, then that bishop also can't do much.
Okay.
Then the other move is E5.
Mm-hmm.
And?
Okay. 2, and there is another, the third one.
The other is F5.
Okay. And what are the ideas? Okay, we will ask them everyone first, and then we come back.
Okay, Biswa, what's your move?
Okay.
E5. That's
E5 is Biswa's move. Okay. Only one move, Biswa?
Yeah, I was just calculating this.
Vaibhav? E5 for Vaibhav as well. Okay. And Joel?
The thing is, by Vladimir's logic, White wants to push E4. And the only thing that stops E4 is F5. But then he gets unpercent. And if you... So it's... I'll go F5. I think.
a small. Yeah, we are back. Okay. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I will give lots of points now to people. Well, actually, yeah, the logics is that white definitely wants to play e4. That's the main idea. Of course, you are potentially h4, h5, g6, but that's far, yeah? That's far. I mean, the main idea is e4, and I like my knight on d5 very much. Yeah, it's a very good knight. So basically, I have to fight again with it, yeah, with e4. So there are two ways, you're right, e5 and f5. There are two ways of doing it. Both are perfectly playable. I mean, both are logical. I played f5. I think it's the best one. Because the thing is that gf6, yeah, of course, it's a serious option, but it just doesn't work again tactically. Queen takes f6, and the white has problems on the f line, yeah? The knight on f3 is hanging, and if you move it, then f2 pawn is hanging. So at gf6 is not possible, doesn't work. And otherwise, with f5, you stop e4 forever. You know, I mean, it's never. I mean, you in a way you secure this knight on d5, which is a very, very important piece for black's position. You know, it's like it's standing there, and you cannot do anything about this knight anymore. Yeah, you stop e4. So it's the most precise and the best move. So I would give 1 point, to everyone who pointed out as the best option. But e5 is also makes a lot of sense. It actually has the same idea. Yeah, it's basically instead of f5, the move e5 is, I would say, is my second option. It would be my second option. But
e4, yeah,
it's not. Yeah, e4, e takes d4. I mean, trying to fight with but somehow it was tactically not so clear at all, because I think after e5, simply white could take on e5. Let's say takes, knight e5, you take long castle, maybe, and then
that pawn.
f4, e4. There are some options, yeah, some ideas coming. But it's okay. Black is also fine after e5. But I think after f5, black is already trying to get an advantage. So I would say that for e5, I would give half point, and for f5, 1 point.
And Anirban has mentioned all 3 moves.
I said f5. I said f5.
No, yeah, all right, half point because yeah, there was 3 moves. I mean, 1 point I would give only. I'm very tough teacher. Yeah, I would give only to the person who said, okay, this is the best move. Yeah, then it's 1 point. Yeah, and he's right. Everything else is half point. Yeah.
Joel, congratulations. This is your first point in Grandmaster Chess. So great job.
And it's not an easy move.
He found the toughest move, and that is amazing.
But Joel said e5, no? He said f5 is not playable on personal comp. He said
no. That's what I went with f5.
I said f5 feels completely incorrect, but I'll still go with it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So it actually means your intuition is great. I mean, it doesn't matter if you make the right decision by calculation, by understanding, or just by pure luck. But finally, it is or intuition. You know, finally, it's still the best move. So you get your point. Yeah.
Thank you.
I did not know. I mean, I completely forgot that there is a strategy. I'm going to suggest 7 moves from now on.
When Vladimir said, give me an order, I gave the opposite order, basically.
Yeah.
Hey, but Sagar, you have to be more strict here. Like 3 moves, 4 option. He also said G6, which needs to be given minus points.
I would say, let's fix it to 2 moves maximum. Yeah, I mean, we don't make more than 2 moves, because more than 2 is really quite a lot. But 2 is okay, because sometimes in some positions there are 2 moves which are more or less equal. Yeah, so that's why 2 moves are okay. But again, if then probably if you name 2 moves, I would, most of the time I would not give more than half point, because the real 1 point is you say, okay, this move is what I would play, and this is the best, and you are right, and that is clearly 1 point. Otherwise, I will decide on the occasion. Depends on your. But anyway, it's fun. We are not trying to win World Championship, with this competition. We are just having fun.
I'm sorry, sir. This is not fun. This is cutthroat competition. We want the chessboard.
Just give the chessboard to Vaibhav.
Okay. So,
Alright, let's
guys,
go.
the next question comes immediately after the next move. Boris long castled here, and this is your 5th point already here. What should you play here as black? Vladimir, do you have any hint this time? Because nothing seems to be hanging in the position.
Yeah. The hint is that, this is now a situation when the first question, you ask the first question, can I take something? Can I win by force? No, there is no way. It's quite obvious. Then the second question, what is the threat of your opponent? And actually, you can clearly realize there is no threat. There is nothing really he's threatening now. So for the moment, he's just trying to get his king out of the center and to try to put him safe on b1, bishop on c1 maybe. So now it's all yours. So this is another situation when you raise those two questions, you answer them, and then you come to the third question. What do you like to do yourself? You have a free hand now. You can do different things. So you have to develop a certain idea. What are you planning to do next, and how exactly you do it.
Vladimir, I have one question. You said that after seeing what is hanging, what you should be playing, the next thing is to think what opponent will do. Is this the way in which all players, like let's say someone is very aggressive attacker, like let's say Tal or all these very aggressive players, would they also give so much importance to opponents' ideas, or first they would calculate their ideas and then?
No, I think anyways the method is the same, because it's otherwise you cannot play chess well simply. That is why. But then you give a different significance, let's say, to this. So some players who are very prophylactic, very positional, they mainly as a concept they are trying to prevent active play from the opponent. This is like Karpov. He was extremely powerful in this. He was just managing somehow. He could sometimes play 2/3 of the game, just preventing his opponent from doing anything active, and only at the end of the time he would start himself. But some players who are trying, let's say, who are more like trying to do something themselves and allowing the opponent to do as well. So like in let's say, if you want, in a soccer, there are some teams which are more defensive, a little more playing from defense, some which are trying like to attack more and to allow more attacks. So that is more about the concept of play, but in general, I mean, the most important is the level. You can have different concepts. There is no right or wrong, but in any case, whatever concept you choose, you better play well. That is more important.
But guys, just look at it that Vladimir gives a lot of importance to opponents' ideas, and I think that is something that you guys should really be aware of. Here, White isn't threatening much, so it's time for your own ideas. So this time we will begin as the time comes to
and it's very important. You see, it's it's quite educational that you see that how many moves in a row I was fighting with the opponent's ideas and managed it successfully. So finally the moment comes when I can start to do something, when I could ignore my opponent and start to make something, I would say, active.
So this is the moment.
But it's like a prize, which you get for a certain period of the game, few moves, when you are actually doing prophylactics, fighting against your opponent's plan.
Right. Amazing. Okay, let's go with Biswa. Biswa, you have to do something now. So let's see what you're coming up with.
Rook c8. Rook a to c8.
A c8 is Biswa's move here. He wants to bring the rook to c8. Okay, Vaibhav.
Rook a c8.
Oh, Vaibhav also wants to get the rook here. What about Joel?
Pawn c5.
Pawn to c5 is Joel's move. And Anirban?
a5.
A5. Okay.
Which, a5 or e5? A5.
Vladimir, rook c8 suggested by two of them.
Well, frankly, I can tell that I mean, all moves make sense. I mean, I would say I would give half point to all, but I played myself c5. I would give 1 point to c5. I mean, actually, I understand the idea of rook c8 is to play c5 next, yeah, which is correct, but you can play immediately, yeah. There is no, I mean, yeah, I mean, your idea is correct and the move is fine, but you know, why to start with rook c8 when you can start with c5 anyway, yeah. And a5 is also interesting. I mean, I guess the idea is to play b5 and knight b6, b4. It's actually makes sense as well. I mean, I would say that it's almost as good as c5. So I would say half point to everyone, and probably to Joel 1 point, because c5 is the most accurate way of making the plan, which you are all correct. I mean, now black's idea, black has to start to play against white's king, yeah, in this or that way. But usually, if you're trying to start your attack, you better don't lose tempis. You know, I mean, faster you go, you know, more efficient it is, yeah. So rook c8 is kind of losing half tempi, I would say, not full, but it can be very important, you know, in future. So
Very interesting.
c5 is most accurate.
Would you explain it this way, Vladimir, that the pawn anyway has to go to c5, the rook may or may not have to go to c8?
Yeah, exactly this. So c5 will be played. There is no problem with this move immediately. D takes c5 is not good because of knight takes c5, and there are a lot of troubles for white. So since you are going to play c5 anyway next, then better play immediately. Because if you play rook c8, it would not make sense if you wouldn't play c5, yeah? It's a pure logic, yeah? So you're going to play c5. So then if you can play it first and then you see.
Okay.
And who knows, maybe you'll not have to play rook c8. Who knows?
Yeah. But we don't reveal it because the next move itself is the 6th point now. Boris went king b1, moving away from the c file. And here is your 6th point, guys.
Very logical move, because c line is, there is I mean, the king cannot stay for too long on the c line, obviously. Yeah.
And another very critical moment of the game has arrived. Here you have to figure out 6th point, what to do. Joel right now is leading along with Vaibhav on 2 points. On a hat trick now. Can get the 3rd one. When it's starting to get into the middle game, I think, Joel, you are getting the moves, the intuitive.
No, but here I would say I'm very pleased with everyone, because all 4 ideas were good. I mean, it's just that Joel's execution of it was the most correct, but actually everybody got the position right, that black has to try to play on the queen side and try to attack the king.
Yeah. I would request all 4 of you to now really get pumped up. Also the chat, because guys, the fireworks are soon going to begin in this game. As you can see,
you think
opposite color.
You think it will start? It doesn't look like there will be anything special.
The finish of this game, guys, is unbelievable. I can just give you a small spoiler here. So be alert and try to get into the groove already.
Because Sagar, I think even in Karo-Kan, I think you push a lot of c6, c5 to break in. So I think
that's very typical, of course. Yeah, that's a very, very typical idea. Yeah.
Maybe people who play Karo-Kan can club Slav in their repertoire, because it's kind of similar structure. Yes.
Yeah. But also you see that the concept which I was telling you earlier on, that now you see that white's bishop is not good piece, on d2. It's actually very limited. He didn't manage to get e4 to open up the position and to get this bishop active, So I play c5 when already bishop is out from this diagonal. So actually his bishop is a problem. In fact, in this position, it would have been much better for white to have another knight on d2 than a bishop, which is a rare case. Usually bishop is a little bit more active piece than a knight, but here I managed somehow to limit his bishop, and you can also notice that all white's pawns are on the black squares, which is normally not the right setup if you have only one bishop and the bishop is of the same color.
Right. I have one question, Vladimir, but now they will say the answer, so I'll ask you in the next one. It's about your training, the way you teach even right now, and I've seen you teaching the youngsters of Indian chess in the Microsense program, where you taught in first near Switzerland and now in Chennai. You do it very with lot of intensity. So how does that come? Because you have been a professional player all throughout. So this is something that I want to ask you, but we will come to it after the answers here. So Vaibhav, we begin with you. Sorry.
A5.
A5 is what Vaibhav wants to do. He wants to push his A pawn. Okay. Anirban?
A5.
A5? Okay.
Yeah.
And Joel?
B5.
B5. Okay. Biswa?
C4.
C4. Pawn sack. So it's, look at this. One A, B, and C, all pawns.
Yeah, everybody wants some blood, yeah.
Now this is just competitiveness.
Well, I would say, yeah, let's start with C4. I think C4 is it's just, I mean, it's a nice, interesting idea, but it doesn't work here because Black doesn't have enough of play on the C line. He gives a pawn, but Rook C8, let's say Queen goes out, and there is not enough play. I mean, under certain circumstances, this idea could work. Sometimes it works when you get very quick entrance on the C line, but here, no, it doesn't, because the white has control on C line, and you gave a pawn. Yeah, so C4 is not the right move. A5 is A5 is it makes sense. I mean, I would say it's somewhere, I don't know, I would say 0.25, yeah, maybe. Okay, half point is okay, because it makes sense. Yeah, that's a general concept, yeah, of Black, is to push pawns. But again, Joel is correct. B5 is the most... B5 is the most kind of aggressive and very dangerous move. Yeah, it's very direct. Yeah, I'm trying not to lose a slightest, tempi. I'm trying to be very quick, because I can manage. Because if White manages Rook C1, King A1, very slowly, he can be finally okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to use a moment when he's still not fully set, when he haven't set up exactly the way he wants his pieces to start an attack. And B5 is a very dangerous move, because now I'm threatening C4. Yeah. And then A5, Rook C8, I just push my pawns. I mean, he cannot allow C4. And D takes C5, Knight takes C5. He has a problem with the Queen. So actually with, Knight takes C5, and it's very direct. I jump out, with every move. Let's say Queen E2. I would probably play maybe Rook B8 and followed by B4, Knight E4. I mean, it's just Knight E4. I mean, it's very dangerous position, because B4 is coming. I'm trying to open up his king, the position of his king. So actually B5 is like forcing him, because positionally he cannot allow me to play C4. So it's forcing him to take on B5. Of course, it's a pawn sacrifice. There is no immediate refutation. But first of all, he loses tempis, taking on B5. And secondly, I open up the B line for my rooks, and the attack becomes quite significant.
Vladimir, they know, all of them, that when the opponent's king is on one side, you need to open lines. So by that logic, C4 was played to give a pawn. Here B5 is the right move. How do you actually judge which one is the right sacrifice?
I don't know. It's it's years of practice of studying chess, and so, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult, it's like to tell you how to ask some good football player. I don't know, Ronaldo, how does he manage to kick the ball and to score so much? It's hard to say. I guess difficult. It's years of training, of understanding. And but in general, I mean, C4 and B5 has the same logic. That's why I told it C4. I mean, it has logic, but it's not the right line to open. Yeah, B5 is because now I can press on the B line, and the B line is much more dangerous because the B2 pawn there and the king is there also. Yeah, so it has much more potential opening up the B5 line. But as a general concept, you're right. The concept is to open up lines. Yeah.
Okay, Joel, well done. You are on 3 points. You scored a hat trick now and taken the lead. And also amazing moves. Queen B5 was played by Boris. And
Yeah, I'm sure Boris was not happy taking this pawn because it's very dangerous. But okay, he had no choice anymore because he cannot allow c4. Then the game would be basically over. So
Yeah. So rook b8 by Vladimir, getting the open file. And now Boris moved his queen to a5 so that it's kind of safe. And now here the rook jumped in to the b3 square, all ready to double up on the b file. So Boris quickly moved his king away. Rook jumped in and rook to b1. And now, guys, comes.
yeah, that's of course. I mean, white. Of course, white's position is very passive, but but in the meantime, he's pawn up. Yeah, so if he manages slowly rook c1, my pawn on a7 is hanging also. It's quite obvious even visually that white's position is dangerous. But if he will be in time, if I lose a bit of time and if I'm not a bit hesitant with my attack, he might he might actually be better at some point. Yeah, because I also I give a pawn. Yeah, I didn't have to sacrifice a pawn, but now I'm pawn down. I have to show something. Yeah. I mean, I cannot just continue playing positionally or slowly. I have to find some way how to continue my attack. There are different ways of doing it, but I think there is one which is better than the others.
Right. Okay. So, guys, key moment of the game now. Again, 3 minutes for you. What do you do here as black? Because white seems to have kind of covered all the points. So, how do you start something new?
Sagar, can I be slightly overconfident and make my entry now?
Oh.
No, message it to him. Don't
No,
tell us.
but wait, because it's better. You can write down, Joel, maybe secretly to.
Yeah.
I mean to the Sagar, yeah, but just that nobody.
You can send me on WhatsApp, Joel.
Yeah. But you can still have 3
Yeah,
minutes.
I think I'll still go. Yes.
There is no need to hurry. Yeah? You will not gain anything by hurrying.
Joel's confidence keeps rising as he gives the right answer, and then it goes into overconfidence at some point. But yeah, Vladimir, coming to the question of you teaching, does that come naturally to you? Is that something you have developed because you really do it with a lot of passion?
Well, first of all, I like it because I find it meaningful in general teaching, especially in this rare field where I understand something, at least. So and therefore I mean, it's nice to give your experience, your years and years of experience of reflections about different things, very general, very concrete moments like preparation, how to prepare, non-chess preparation, and certain general chess concepts. It's why not to share? I mean, there is, and I hope it will be useful for all people who are listening to me. But and about the intensity, I would say that there is. I really believe in this sentence: "No pain, no gain." Yeah, if it's too soft, the gain is too little. Yeah, I mean, I remember very well my first kind of shock because I always was working on chess quite a lot and intensive and a lot on time. Basically, I mean, every day, trying to do it every day when I was young, and then. Once I was invited by Garry Kasparov to his training session. It was 1995. We just played some games, training games, and worked a bit together. I was just 20 years old at that time. And when I saw the intensity of his work, I mean, maybe by hours he was not working more than me, but the intensity was double. Was just, I mean, for me, unbearable practically, and then I mean, the concentration, I mean, every minute of the work was a real work. Yeah. It was not relaxation. There were no, like often happens, you have some funny stories, you jokes, then you take a tea a little bit, then you continue working. No, that was like, let's say 5 hours in a row, same as I was doing myself, but 5 hours of intense work, really intense with concentration. And, I mean, I learned something, I mean, clearly from it, because I understood that, okay, the way I was working is good. Of course, it's still maybe was more than most of other players, but I understood why Garry is Garry, why he's so superior in openings and in general why he is so good at the chessboard, because he puts himself in training in the quite tough conditions. And I can tell you, I remember that, you know, it was a time when by the end of the day, like 10 in the evening or something, I experienced something I've never experienced before when I had my training session, that simply I was unable to move. You know, I would just go and fall in my bed and fall asleep. You know, I had zero energy left. And he was okay. It was for him a normal routine, and for me at that time it was totally, you know, beyond what I experienced normally. And then slowly I understood that, yeah, it's not only about the hours you spend on chess, but also about the intensity. Of course, it shouldn't be too much. I mean, that you simply drained and you cannot think anymore. But in general, if you want to be a strong player, yeah, you need to train seriously. I mean, the worst thing you can do is to be very soft with yourself. You know, now, after half an hour I feel a bit tired, you know, okay, now I make a break. No, I mean, if you want to be a professional and high level professional, sorry, but it doesn't come without a serious effort. I mean, I don't believe in it, at least. Maybe in books or some people will tell it, you know, but I don't believe.
Yeah, I think by that all of them here are already getting a bit you know, after thinking for 7 questions. But this is the time, guys, to push forward and not give up. So let's begin with Joel. Joel, what's your move here?
So I can get 2 entries or 1.
Yeah, if you give 2, you may not get full point. That's the problem.
Might yes. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, okay. Pawn to c4.
Okay. 1 move, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Going for the biggest prize. Okay, pawn c4. Anirban?
Queen d6.
Queen to d6. Okay. Biswa?
Knight d7 to knight b6.
Knight b6. Okay.
From the 7th knight.
And Vaibhav?
We tie between c4 and knight b6. I'll go with c4.
c4. Okay. None of you were able to find the move that Vladimir played in the game, but maybe there are some moves which are logical. Vladimir, what do you think?
No, I would say that I tell you, first of all, knight b6 is a very logical, but it just doesn't work because king takes b3, the rook is hanging, yeah? That is a problem. I mean, otherwise it would be a good move, but now knight c4 check, let's say there is this cover check, king takes c4. It looks like it's a Tal style combination, which if it would mate, it would be a brilliancy, but it doesn't, yeah? I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't work. The king is not safe on c4, but I gave too many pieces and there is no mate. So knight b6 doesn't work just tactically.
Biswa, did you have any idea after knight b6, or you missed that the rook was...
No, I didn't see. I didn't see the rook was hanging.
No, it's easy to miss it because the rook is protected. Then you just, it's easy to miss that now after knight b6, it's not protected anymore, yeah? So, of course, c4, I would say it is I would give a half point. It's a very logical move. It makes a lot of sense, but I mean, the thing is that rook c1, yeah, after c4, probably he would play rook c1, and actually his pieces are quite, close to the king, and he also, in fact, he doesn't have bad pieces. Now the c4 pawn is hanging. It's not so simple. I mean, visually I have a very powerful compensation initiative, but things are not so simple. I mean, for example, knight 7 b6. Yeah, if I try to protect now, then he can play knight e5. And his pieces are also good. I mean, of course, queen b7, I have compensation, but things are very, very unclear. It can also turn in white's favor, you know, I mean, because you see, all his pieces are working. And I don't like his knight on e5, it's quite annoying, yeah? So basically, well, queen d6, I would give half point for queen d6. I'm not sure it is the right move, but it is a good concept. I mean, there is a point in queen d6. So I will explain now the move which I played. I mean, you know, when you're attacking and there is no mate, you know, there is no concrete mate. Actually, the more pieces are in the attack, yeah, the most dangerous is the attack, yeah. I mean, basically the main idea when it's like here, yeah, I'm just directly attacking him. So if I don't have enough pieces in the attack, I mean, if I cannot gain anything directly, yeah, then I should put some more piece, yeah. I mean, I should activate another piece. For example, knight b6 makes a lot of sense in this point, yeah, that I want knight c4, I want my knight closer to the king. And if you look at this position, which piece is not really taking part in the attack is actually the most powerful piece, is my queen, yeah. I mean, rooks are there, knight on d5 is very active, it's very powerful piece and potentially attacking. Knight on d7 is not taking part, but it's difficult to activate him, yeah, now. I mean, so then it's about queen, and actually queen is a very important piece, yeah, it's a very powerful piece. So the idea is that I have to try to activate my queen to get my queen closer to the business, so to say, yeah, because that would be the way how to, you know, how to bring, you know, some more pressure on my opponent. And queen d6 is one of the ways of trying to do it, just to move it somewhere close to the queen side. But I played e5, is the same idea. e5, which is the idea that I want, well, I want queen e6, I want to get my queen like this. And also in a way, I'm pressing the pawn on b2, because let's say d takes e5, yeah, looks, let's say, logical, yeah, to try to do something. Then knight takes e5. Of course, it's difficult move. e5, it's not. Yeah, you have to calculate, you know, some variations here, because now the problem, he cannot. Yeah, I mean, he has to take on e5. His knight is hanging. Queen takes e5, and now the pawn on b2 is a big problem. Yeah, I mean, it's just losing because the pawn on b2 is under attack. So e5 is a way, and I won't probably move like queen e6. Yeah, I mean, I want to take the pawn on d4, and I want queen e6 to start. You know, let's say if he plays some. I mean, I can also have this queen e6 idea, trying to attack.
He played rook at c1, and you played queen e6.
So e5 is like, yeah, e5, rook c1, queen e6. Yeah. So now I'm threatening already. He has to move away his king out of this pin, out of the king a1. Yeah.
And then Vladimir took here on d4.
Yeah,
and
ED4.
Already you can see white cannot take here because the knight is hanging on f3. And so I think Boris realized that his position is slightly difficult, and he decided to sacrifice an exchange here with rook takes c5.
Yeah, that was his idea when he played rook c1 after e5. I mean, that is a very tricky tactical and actually quite very, very clever idea, yeah, to find a tactical way. Rook takes c5. Yeah, I have to take, yeah. Queen takes c5, yeah. And now, okay, it's a complicated situation. It's very tactical now, yeah. You have, I mean, again, you have to understand what does he want and so on, and how to fight against it. But it's maybe you should give even a bit more time than 3 minutes, because it's kind of complicated.
Yeah. Let me make it 5 minutes this time.
Yeah, because that is a very important moment to find the best move. Now it's really crucial. I mean, now there is one move which is by far better than
here there is one move, and guys, if you find it, you will.
It's a very good move. I mean, but it's not easy to find. But it is a really crucial move. I mean, because of this move, all the game and e5 is working. You know, I mean, if not this move, then maybe white would have a very decent position and maybe not worse even.
So while they are thinking, Vladimir, I have one more question for you. You've won Dortmund tournament 10 times in 10 times in your career. That is unbelievable. What is it about Dortmund? Because you are going to play against Anand again in the same city there. What is it about that place that brings out the best in you?
But you know, yeah, it happens. There are some, you know, many top players, they have their own favorite tournaments for some reason. I mean, there are some places where you feel well. Maybe it's also connected with the time of the year. you know, that, for example, Vichy was incredibly good at in Vaikanze always, yeah. I mean, very, especially Vaikanze. Of course, he was good in many other tournaments, including Dortmund. He won, yeah, also, of course. But there are some tournaments where, for some reason, the atmosphere, it's difficult to understand why. The time of the year, the format of the tournament, it fits you. For example, I think Garry Kasparov, he won 8 or 9 times Linares. Yeah, so some people, I think Magnus also is very, is real favorite tournament is Vaikanze. I think he won already several times. Yeah. So, and for some reason, for me, it was Dortmund. I think the reason is that because I like Germany, I like the atmosphere there, and I like the organization there. It's always very nice that people are doing it with their heart, but also maybe partly it's connected with the fact that, you know, it's summer. I mean, it's a nice weather, and I'm Russian, you know, I especially, you know, I used to live in Moscow for a long period of time. It's cold. It's, you know, even in summer, it's not real summer. You know, there is rain and clouds and plus 10. You know, and then maybe this atmosphere, I was feeling like I'm in the, you know, in the beach somewhere in the Seychelles. You know, and somehow this gives you it's difficult to understand why, but there is a combination, yeah, of things. And true that 10 times I won this tournament. Actually, I think it's, for the moment at least, more than anyone else in the history winning the same tournament. Yeah, I think they made some Guinness book, something. I don't care, of course, but they say that it's the most amount of same tournaments won by a chess player ever. Yeah. I think Kasparov 9 times was Linares, so very close, and maybe Magnus or somebody will overtake, but I don't care. I mean, about it. It's just that it's quite accidental. I don't understand why so much, why so often, but I don't mind.
It's amazing, yeah. And would if let's say this would not make it 11, yeah, if you in case win, this is not the Dortmund. It's a separate event.
No,
This is
yeah. No, it is a Dortmund, but it's a match. It's, I mean that I was winning tournaments.
sure.
Yeah, matches
Correct,
is something
correct.
different. So no, but for me, you know, I do not count to calculate these victories. I mean, okay, I know that people like to calculate who is best ever, who is not best ever, who won how many tournaments. I can tell you, for me, it doesn't matter really. I mean, okay, in general, again, if you are talking about philosophy, if you want life philosophy, that I always found very strange and very superficial, the idea that you have to be the first always, you know, that the first place counts much more than the second place, you know. I mean, I actually, logically, it doesn't make any sense, frankly, yeah, because let's say you're top 10 chess player, yeah, you are number 1 or you're number 3, but you know there are 7+ billion people on the planet. It's still absolutely unique, you know, let's say, or whatever else you do, football or whatever, you know. But I mean, statistically, mathematically, doesn't make almost any difference, you know. And after all, you know, I mean, so I find it a bit strange, this, you know, this concept, this social concept, yeah, that, okay, the winner is God, you know, everyone else is good, but, you know, it's not the same anymore. I never felt like this. So for me, being second or third, let's say in a top tournament, of course you always want to be the first, but the difference was not as big as they say and as people feel, as I understand usually. Yeah, I don't see why it should be the difference.
This attitude is after you became the world champion or right from the very beginning?
No, before as well. I mean, I can tell you that if I wouldn't have become world champion, it wouldn't change anything. I mean, I wouldn't feel that I missed something. I mean, it was like a bonus. Okay, became world champion, great, but if not, okay, it would still be great. I mean, the time, even being a top 10 player, it would be more than I could ever expect when I started to play chess, you know. So, I mean, everything else is a bonus.
Yeah, amazing philosophy intertwined with great chess. Let's go to Vaibhav here. Vaibhav, what's your move?
I'm gonna make a big blunder here.
Now is
but
the tough
Good.
moment of the game. Yeah.
very tough. I could not calculate completely, but knight
Knight
c3.
c3 is Vaibhav's move. Okay, let's go to Anirban.
Mm. Rook b5.
Which one?
Okay.
This rook or this rook?
The eighth
Rook
rank.
8 b5.
From the 8th
Okay.
rank. Yeah.
Joel?
I thought of knight c3 also, but then the knight takes on d4. Then there is nothing much continuation for black, is what I thought. So can I give 2 though this time?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give c3, knight c3, and then I'll give queen e4.
Okay.
Okay, and Biswa?
Rook b8 to b5.
b5. Okay. Well, couple of one guy will get full points here, but we'll come to it.
Yeah, it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge now. Yeah. I mean, I played knight c3. I think it's the best move in the position. But of course, you can never play this. I mean, you should never play this move if you don't see the full continuation. Yeah, the full idea. Otherwise, it can just lose. Yeah. I mean, so in this way, let's say, I mean, yeah, knight c3 is the correct move. Rook b5 is half point. Yeah, it is probably a second best move or something. But okay, it doesn't. I mean, yeah, it's not the correct move, I would say. But it at least keeps the situation maybe still in favor for black. But not clear at all. I mean, not clear at all. I mean, the only move which is really, making situation clearly in black's favor is knight c3. Everything else is probably still good for black, probably still better for black, a bit better, but already not so clear. Yeah. So I would say 1 point,
To Vaibhav.
for what half, I guess, for knight c3, even if it was a pure intuition.
And
doesn't matter.
I can try, like I tried to calculate
But
as much as I
Vaibhav,
could. I think I found.
Yeah. I mean, not pure intuition, of course you calculate it, but I mean, anyway, we will not go deeper for the moment into it.
Fair.
So knight c3, then I would say, Joel, okay, half point, but from other point of view, I mean, okay, let's say half point. I mean, doesn't matter. And rook b5 half point I would give as well. Because it's a fine move. I mean, it's totally fine. I mean, there is nothing totally wrong with this move or anything, but it probably spoils a serious part of an advantage. I would
queen
put it this
e4?
way. Queen e4. Yeah, I mean, the same story as rook b5. It's, maybe even better than rook b5. I mean, so I would say it's a move which is, which is correct, which is not bad, but it's not, but, in some situations, sometimes you need to play the only best move in the position. That's very important. That, if you don't find it, then you will not win. So maybe if you play queen e4, you will definitely be doing fine and well and so on, but probably you will not win already.
Right, soft.
The same goes with rook b5. So knight c3, of course, is a very critical move. But the problem is knight takes d4.
Boris Gelfand took this pawn. And now, guys, 3 minutes for the next one. That's why I didn't want you to reveal your calculations, because there are 2 more points. One is, this is the penultimate point, and after that is one more, and it becomes very, very critical. Sure.
Yeah, of course, now situation becomes extremely tactical, and you need to calculate. Now already all positional considerations you can throw into the rubbish bin. It doesn't matter. It's all about calculation. Very concrete, correct decisions.
There's also fork on your queen and rook, so you have to be very careful.
Yeah. I mean, everything is hanging. I mean, all my pieces are hanging now. So if I miss knight d4, then it's really bad luck. I mean, so of course, when playing knight c3, I had some idea what am I planning to do against knight d4.
By the way, Vladimir, when you were talking about your philosophy of life, I was thinking that isn't it a very critical element of being a top player that you have this killer instinct or this attitude that yes, I want to be the best, I want to win, or that is not true? I mean, you have showed that it's not required, but I see everywhere else always the number one guy is like, I want to do it, and I want to win.
Well, but because what I mean, it's maybe more common attitude, yeah, like this. That you really want to be the first, to be the winner all the time, and so on. What I want to say that it's not the only possible attitude, and it's very important, in life, not only in chess, whatever you do, is just not to try to copy the common discourse. Everybody is saying that you have to be like this and you are like this, but maybe deep inside you are not like this. And then it's okay if you understand well that it's not yours, even if 90% of people are like this, but you have a different philosophy, different character. It's important not to be taken, away, from your past by someone else, or even, so to say, society's cliches or standards. You have to understand what is yours. And for me, I understood quite early that it's not mine. It's just not. This attitude of kind of aggression, of being fighting, being very motivated about the result, and really trying to win every tournament I play, trying to have it as a goal. It's not mine, simply. And once I understood, things started to get much better. Because I understood, okay, I just stick to, okay, maybe it will not work, maybe it should not work, but it cannot be any other way with me, personally with me. And it worked, so probably it means I was right. It's a strange attitude. Many people, they don't believe that I'm sincere, but I am. I know that, okay, people are, so one thing is important, people are different. You have to understand yourself, and you have to stick to what you are. In general, not necessarily to achieve something in your profession, but just to be happy in life. There is no other way.
Beautifully put, and I really love it. And because you did this, I'm sure many more people may think in this direction as well, and take it from there.
No, I don't want to say, I don't want to pretend that my attitude is a better one or it's a correct one. No, it's just to say that, it's mine, yeah?
It's yours.
And that's already enough to follow it.
Amazing. Okay, let's go with Anirban. Anirban, what's your move for this one? I see from their faces no one has got it, because if someone would have found the answer, they would be right now relaxing in the chair.
Yeah. So
I am relaxing in my chair, but I don't think.
No, I know, Vaibhav. If you would have got it, you would have been excited. You are a little different.
Actually, words like you guys were talking, but I didn't the answer before you gave the point. Like I wrote it earlier, but I have a feeling I might be wrong. So let's see.
My friend, I have a feeling every move I make when I play chess, I have a feeling I might be wrong. So it's okay, to have this feeling.
Okay, Anirban, should I come to you later, or you would like to?
No, I'll answer. I'm not really sure. Rook b2.
Okay, rook b2 for Anirban wants to sack his rook here by rook takes b2. Okay, Joel.
Yeah, can you go to Biswa or Vaibhav?
Biswa.
I
Can
don't
you get
know,
like,
man.
Can you get like
Nothing works.
2-3 more minutes?
Not 2-3 more. Come on.
No, you will have. I think
Yes,
one
last
more. No?
point is
One
left.
more
This is the
question,
ninth one, so you only need to tell one move.
Yeah, one move.
Okay,
now,
rook
yeah.
takes an a3.
Rook takes a3. Biswa wants to sack the rook the other way.
Okay.
Okay. And
It
Vaibhav.
doesn't work by now.
Vaibhav is like, oh, rook takes a3 is also possible.
Yeah, I did not see this. Actually, I did not see rook takes b2 also. I did miss both of them, and I think my move is wrong. But like knight takes on b1.
Knight takes b1.
Okay.
And now Joel, you have to.
I don't know why I feel it's queen a6.
Queen a6 here. Okay.
But I think it's Lua is everything hanging. It's wrong. But queen a6, yeah, whatever.
Okay. So now just no comment. Yeah, we just show the move which I played.
And we give the point to the one guy who guessed it right, which
Yeah.
is Anirban.
Nice. Very nice.
Wow.
Whoa.
Damn nice.
And guys,
So of course the idea is that if white takes the queen, like knight takes e6, there is rook a2 mate, for example. Yeah. And if white takes the knight on c3, there is queen a2 mate. So I mean that is all fine, but the problem is what happens if rook takes. Yeah, that is also mate, but rook takes b2. Yeah, that is.
So guys, final point here. Last 3 minutes for you. This one, and also the one who wins this outright will get. I mean, the one who gets the prize. So 3 people are in with a chance here: Vaibhav, Anirban, and Joel.
I think everybody saw this mate here.
Yeah.
Already you found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's suddenly everyone became very quick.
Yeah, but it's like this story with Viktor Korchnoi. Yeah, I think Sagar, I've told you this story. Yeah, because Viktor Korchnoi was a legendary chess player. He had quite a sharp tongue. Yeah, he was not very, not very politcorrect, so to say. Yeah, he liked to say some things about other chess players, especially young players. And I remember he once, I think I played in this tournament beginning of 90s, and there was a young player who was a nominant of this country. I mean, he was very good, talented player. He became actually a grandmaster, but it was clear he was not going to be a top player. Just a good, talented grandmaster. Yeah. And then he played in the tournament because as a local, it was a good tournament. He played it as well. Normally he wouldn't get there, but because he was a local and a rising star, kind of, they put him there. Of course, he didn't do very well. It was too strong for him. And I remember that Victor, there was even some local TV. He won a game against this young player. I wouldn't tell neither his name, neither his country, just to. And so the interviewer asked Victor Vojich, you've just played the game with our young rising star, and what do you think about him? I mean, you won a game, but I saw you were analyzing the game with him then for half an hour. So what do you think about him? And Victor, well, we all know him. It was his typical way. Said, I've just played a game against this player, and then we have analyzed together for half an hour. And what I've noticed? This young man, he sees so much. He sees everything. And then he made a small pause, but always one move too late. So it's like in a way now you saw, I think all of you they found the solution. But what is important now, of course, which is very good, you are not professionals and it's very good, but what is important is to see in advance, of course, because that is what makes it difficult for top players, that basically this combination you had. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw it when I played d5 already. I mean, because otherwise it wouldn't probably work.
E5 is like,
I mean,
how many moves ago? Oh my.
At minimum, definitely when I played ED4, definitely, because then it's getting quite direct, already. And probably Boris, he missed it, maybe playing Rook C1 or something, and then it was already too late. Then there was no way back anymore. But I still feel angry with Boris that he didn't let me show it in full, the combination, unfortunately. Because he just resigned one move too early.
Well, and the move, guys. Let's.
I guess we all know. We all know the move is.
I think who got the last point should be given this point. Because build up, no.
Let's see. I think the entire chat is filled with this answer. But let's see. Biswa, what's your move?
Oh, brother, Queen A2. What else?
Joel, Anirban, Vaibhav, same move, right?
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
finish! Look at this
Well,
queen sack.
Yeah, but Queen A2, and unfortunately Boris resigned here. Of course, it would be nice if he would take the queen. I mean, and Rook B1 mate, because it's actually quite a rare mate, because not only that I'm so many pieces down, but also it's so to say, they call it the right mate. So it means there is not a single piece, extra piece, in the, let's say if I would have some, by occasion, some knight on h5 somewhere, it's already not, I mean, here it's like, you have only two pieces.
And both are
and they are
for
mating,
the
yeah.
mate.
Yeah, that is what is called in our childhood, I was called in a composition, when you make composition, it's this kind of, they were calling it in Russian, the right mate. So it means no single wrong, piece extra, which is not attacking. Yeah, but in general, yeah, that would be nice, because it's quite rare that you are mating like this, sacrificing queen and piece, with so little material, and it works. And actually, it's a logical continuation of the game, and you do it against a very top player. Yeah, so it's quite a rare occasion. So that's why this game was quite memorable for me.
Amazing. And it's so beautiful because each one of you scored a full point towards the end, which is which is a nice way to end. Guys, how was your how did you find the game?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Amazing, man. That E5 move is just like so much to understand in that. Like, where, how, just what to do when there were like 2 or 3 positions where there's like just everything's okay. Even the C5 push, I think that was a very nice find as well. Like, it was really nice. Like, not to do anything, but then still make a move. That was very amazing.
Yeah, and starting it was like trying to figure out the opponent's move, and then the next half of the game was just attacking yourself.
Yeah. It's not, it's in a way like if you like in soccer, you defend and then you start counterattack and then you run. All your players has to run, and has to run quick and be very quick. Otherwise, it will be stopped. Yeah. So in a way, this is quite often happening in chess, that you prepare, you attack in a prophylactic way. And then, but once you start to attack, very often it has to be quick and very brutal, so to say. You sacrifice pawns. Once you start, yeah. So that's why in chess timing is very important. Yeah, it's not only, of course, important is to understand now to attack, to defend. I mean the strategy, but also the timing. Because one move on the high level, one move too early, one move too late is already not efficient. Yeah, it has to be exactly in the right moment.
Right. Yeah, it was an amazing game, Vladimir, and so much to learn from this entire thing. I think they learned that after looking at normal moves, you have to first look at opponents' possibilities first before.
Yeah, threats and possibilities. Yeah, and only then you start to think about your own. Yeah, that's the way it should be. And I can assure you that all of you amateur players, once you start to use this algorithm of thinking, you will see it, you will improve enormously very quickly, because in fact that's something which is not told so much in books, but in fact that is the right algorithm. So check out first if there is any threat, if your opponent has a very direct, dangerous idea. And if you notice it, you defend against it. If there is none, you do your own thing. Yeah, because what the typical mistake of unexperienced players is that they see a lot of interesting ideas for themselves. They start to realize them. They start to do something active just to find out on the next move that there was a very serious threat which you missed, and in fact you are not in time to make what you want, and you are losing some piece or you're losing material. So that is very important. So it must be a thinking discipline when you play chess, is first to watch out for danger, for what your opponent wants, then you do something, then you understand, try to understand what you want to do. Yeah, once it becomes a routine discipline, I can assure you 200 elo points more very quickly.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, much more difficult on my level to raise 200 points.
Then you go to 3000. Yeah, so by the way, Joel and Vaibhav, you both get this DVD, not in DVD but the download, and we'll send you can watch it and learn more about Vladimir and his life story to the path to the top. And Vladimir, we will be looking forward to your match with Vishy in July. I
you.
think there will be live commentary here on ChessBase India. We're going to follow this match move by move. It will be great fun.
And I can also tell that anyone who wants to try to play this no castle chess, it's simple. Yeah, it's only that you have an agreement that you both don't castle and you play. I mean, that is what makes it very simple. That you don't need to change chess base, to change digitally, to change anything. Yeah, you just don't castle. Yeah, and it gives a flavor if you want. I mean, there is no, it's not necessary, but actually that's why I like this variation, because it's simple to implement. Yeah, nothing to add. I mean, everything is simple.
Yeah, so try out no castle chess, guys, before this. Maybe we'll try to have a small event as well, so that you guys can get to learn this variant. But a big thanks to Biswa, Vaibhav, Anirban and Joel for spending your time here and learning and doing so well. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank
It was
you
a
so
pleasure
Thank
to
you.
talk to
Thank you
you
so
as
much.
always. It was a
Thanks,
pleasure
Vladimir.
for me.
Thank you,
Really
Vladimir.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Biswa,
Bye-bye.
Biswa,
All the
you
best.
in the chat, everyone is asked.
Song.
Not song, not song.
Oh,
Hey, Biswa, I have a question. How does it feel just in general?
is Joel going to come from the next session also?
Oh man, it's the first time I didn't meet Vaibhav.
Today.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. See you. Bye bye. I have to go to the market
Bye,
to
guys.
buy groceries. Groceries are it's a time for groceries.
Yeah, time.
Okay.
All the best. All
Bye.
the best to you.
Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you for being here. Bye. Okay, guys, we couldn't get Biswa to do his final mimicry of Vladimir, but it was an amazing session. Thank you all for being here. Sharik Hassan says, thanks for putting this together with legend Kramnik, and thanks to Vladimir for generously sharing his knowledge and insights. Thank you, Sharik. How did you like, guys, this entire session? Ashwat Raja says, thank you, Sagar Bhai, for this awesome stream. I think if Biswa would have won it, he would have done the mimicry. But after he finished with 3 points, he was a little bit low, so we didn't ask him to do it. Gizmo Girl says, Maza aaya to like kar do janta. Yes, guys, please do like the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. It's not every day that you get to learn from a world champion who very openly, freely, in a humble, down-to-earth way shares his knowledge with you. I think it does. It was a amazing session for me. I mean, I learned a lot myself as well. Sushil Nair says, beautiful. Dishan Tyagi, great session. Dipesh Sarkar says, this was very insightful. Anon, brilliant stream. Rajesh Kumar Patra, great session. Sunita Chikane, best, loved it so much. This was great, says Rishi. Saurav, great, brilliant, very nice sessions. Sagar, 4 out of 10 general trends. Oh, nice. Nice. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. I'm sure a lot of people will see it later as well, which in a recorded format. We will do an article so that you can also have the PGN of this. And I also want to give a big thanks to first of all, guys, if you want to also check out this DVD, My Path to the Top, I really would say it's amazing. I put the link in the description so you can get it. Try to watch it. It's a lot of amazing things. Kramnik talks about his path to the top, beating Gary Kasparov and all of it. I would like to thank DGT, who has sponsored this prize, the chess set, and for the first place. So thank you so much to them. We'll soon have the unboxing of this, and a lot of people will enjoy it. Of course, Vaibhav looks very close to winning this. I just updated the scorecard, guys. Look at this. Vaibhav is on 91 points. Biswa is on 76. Anirban on 55 after today's update. And Joel won it today as the guest entrant. So it's still close. We don't know how many sessions it will happen. But who would be the next guest that you would like to see on Grandmaster Chess? Please let us know in the comment section. And until then, guys, see you. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye. See you all. Take care.